Hey y'all, Mikey, Rockin' K. So, who are we? We are a couple of people doing the off grid DIY homesteading thing. What makes it crazy is it's in Germany. So, today we're in the workshop. I got my tractor here, and we're going to need this tractor to move the rubble from jackhammering the floor inside in the laundry room. However, it has been doing nothing but raining. So, we're going to install a canopy. That's coming up. Alrighty, folks. So, when I was in America, I had a canopy shipped to my sister's house because Rinohide canopies, affiliated with, they're actually a subsidy or whatever you want to call it, of Good Works Tractors. Good Works Tractors actually owns the company, but they wouldn't ship it to Germany for me. So what I did was I shipped it to my sister's house. And then while I was there, I went ahead and shot to the post office and sent it to myself. I'll tell you what, that was pricey, but well worth it. I couldn't find a viable solution here in Germany. So I really had no choice but to go with, Rinohide, I think it's called. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look at the other side, but it is, yes, Rinohide. I'd show you the other side, but it's all covered in addresses, and we don't need to spread that information. But anyway, we got this canopy to go on, and the reason we need it is because around here it's been like England, man. No lie. It has been raining since I got back from America. There has been maybe, I don't know, 5-10 days that we have not gotten any rain. And out of those 5 or 10 days, a couple of them was snow. So we've been getting precipitation, to say the least. And I need to drive the tractor around the outside of the house and around to the back of the homestead here to dump the cement that we're going to be chipping out of the floor. And now it's cold, it's rainy, and nobody wants to drive around in that rain. So I figured this was the perfect opportunity to go ahead and install this canopy and show you guys what it looks like. And I probably should give you a tour of the tractor, because it is very similar to the Summit tractor that Good Works Tractors was reviewing for a little while, and he had it on, and he used it with a lot of his implements and stuff. This is a Solis tractor. So it's made by International Tractors, just like the Summit tractor. You could say this is the daddy of the Summit, because Solis has been putting out tractors here in Europe forever. And it's actually International Tractor Company or something like that. The same people that make the Summit. And then Summit got the idea of importing them into America and doing that and branding them under the name Summit. So basically, it is a Summit tractor. The biggest difference is I did not get a hydrostatic transmission. I have a manual transmission, and that is because I was able to achieve a higher speed, and it's a little more versatile when it comes to just putting it in gear and going with an implement. You have a lot more range and a lot more. I mean, I can drive this thing as slow as like 1 mile an hour, and it just goes. Like, it'll pull the house down in the process, but she'll go. Plus, not that hydrostatic transmissions are bad or that the Summit ones are bad or anything. It's just, it's more to go wrong. It's easier to change out a clutch, albeit on this it's probably very difficult because you got to split the tractor in half. But it's not as expensive and not as, if a hydrostatic transmission goes or if you have complications with it, it's usually not good. So I opted for the manual transmission. I mean, I was splitting wood 2 years ago with a tractor from the early 50s, and that thing still ran. And it could, I mean, it went. An old Deutz, or no, an old Hanomag, 3-cylinder tractor. Cool as all. It got the job done. It ran the splitter off the PTO. But now I have my Solis, nice little 26 horsepower get up. And so anyway, enough about the tractor. I'm going to need to get this canopy on so that I can put this tractor to work. You've seen the tractor in other videos and you've seen me using it, but it's now time to put a canopy sticking off there so that I'm not sitting in the rain. It'll also be nice in the summer because we do get some sunny days, and I won't get the the whole farmer's sunburn. I'll settle for a farmer's tan, but not a farmer's sunburn. So anyway, enough about that. Let me get you on a tripod and we'll start getting this thing unpacked. All right, folks, one of the things I did do is ship these 2 L brackets and these bars and the 2 little knobs in my hands. I shipped them in my suitcase because my suitcase was light. So I did that because, hey, they're not going to charge me any extra for a heavier suitcase, but they're going to charge me extra for a heavy box. I also put all the hardware in a Ziploc baggie and put that in my luggage as well. So thankfully, everything made it. So let me show you this canopy. We'll get it out of the box. And I removed all the staples from it when I shipped it here to Germany, just because they were annoying. So we'll get in here into the box, and there is 2 bars in here that hold the top of the canopy. So we'll get those out, get those set aside. And we'll get the canopy out itself. And yep, that's it. So on GoodWorks tractors, you can see him take one of these and just absolutely abuse it. I mean, they hit it with a sledgehammer, they drive over it, they freeze it, drive over it, and it comes out unscathed. So it had me sold. Now, I did use his channel to figure out the basics of how to put it on the tractor. So we will first have to melt these 2 brackets, and these 2 brackets will go on this roll bar here on either side, and then we'll mount these 2 bars on there. These 2 bars give a place for the other bars to slide on because this is removable. I do drive this tractor in one of my smaller barns, and I have to fold this down in order to get it in the barn. So having a removable canopy is where it's at. I could have bought a tractor with a cab and all that, but I wouldn't be able to drive into my wood barns, and that's a no-go for me. I need to be able to fit into all of my outbuildings here, because that's why I bought a tractor, so I didn't have to try to manually carry something. I could use the bucket to move stuff, I could use the pallet forks, all of that. So this was the best option. It's removable, it's universal. So I did buy the same one that he used on the Summit tractor because, of course, this is just like a Summit tractor. So let's have at this thing. It's going to be fun, and then I'll have a tractor that's even more useful. All right, folks, so in looking at the instructions, it says, after determining the mounting position, which it explains it on the back, of if your ROPS, your bar, is in a straight up position, you want to put your bracket on the back facing forward, which that is what we have here, so that's the way I'm going to set it up. And it has other positions, so if it's leaning forward, it tells you to do it a different way. If it's leaning back, do it another way. But it does say that, and then it says, figure out where you want it, height-wise. So you want it, I want it above my head. I'm probably the tallest person. There's one other person that might drive this tractor. So I'm going to put it just a little bit above my head. This way, if my one neighbor does end up driving my tractor, he doesn't hit his head. So it does say to position it about 12 inches down from where you want the bottom of the shell to be. So I'm going to look at putting it, probably about here. So right where the bend starts. So I'm going to measure 12 inches down, and then I'm going to take the bracket, and it says to mount it on the back of the bar with it facing forward, and on the inboard side. And so let me figure out my 12 inches from the bend, and we'll go ahead and we'll start mounting these. All right, so I measured my 12 inches from the roll from the turn of the bar down, and I have a piece of tape on here now, because of course a marker is not going to show up on this black. So now we'll take the bracket, put it on the back of the bar, we'll slide that through, and then it says to take a lock washer and a nut on each side. And so I'll make it even with my tape. And then we'll snug it up. And I'm not going to go too crazy on snugging it up yet, because I want to make sure it's about the right height and where I want it. So now I'll do the same thing on the other side. I already have it sitting on there, so I just got to lower it down. Even with my tape. Snug it up. Oh. So I wrap my tape a little bit around the bar, and what I don't want is tape underneath the bracket. So I just peeled that off there. And now we'll snug it up. We'll go crazy tightening them up once I'm 100% positive that's where we want it. Then it tells me to use the bar and a washer and a nylon lock nut. So we're going to go here, and I believe it says to go through the top hole, which is what we're doing. So we'll go through the top hole. We'll put the bolt from the inside towards the outside so that there's nothing sticking out for us to get stuck on. So start that one. Then we'll come over to the other side. We'll go over to the other side and do the other one. Same fashion. Then we're going to go ahead and start snugging these up. I'm going to make those brackets just a little bit tighter because it's slipping around on me. Now I'll do the same thing on the other side. Now we'll have to unwrap these the rest of the way. Now, those two little handles, those two little knobs, they go here in the back. And this is what makes it removable, because it just drops down on this bar, like so, and then we'll adjust the height. And we're going to have to tighten that one a little bit more. So we're almost there, folks. Now we'll check it to see height-wise. And they say to dip it down just a touch in the front. To not have it so flat. You could tip it either way, but it does give a chance for the ring to kind of roll off of it. And because I think it's going to end about here, I want to tip it forward so that the rainwater kind of falls away from me, because if it falls back, it's going to fall down the back of my neck, and I'm not going to like that at all. So I think height-wise, that'll do it. You know, I'm going to have to make sure that when I'm getting in and out of the tractor that I don't hit my head and such. So what I'll do is I'll snug all this up, and then we'll throw the canopy on the top to make sure it's where we want it. And then I have to do some drilling, and I'll show you that once we get this all snugged up. All right, folks. So I'm kind of happy with the way it sits and the height clearance and stuff like that. I do have the option to shimmy it down some later on, because my bar is relatively straight up and down, so it won't affect the tipping of the front or anything like that. And we got a little bit down on the front. I think this is where I want it. So what I'll end up doing is removing the plastic shield and then tightening these really tight, these bars. And then it says to drill them. And the easiest way it's going to be to drill them is to take them off. It sounds crazy and it sounds like a lot of work, but it's not that much work. I just think it's easier for me. You can do what you want and try to hit it from the backside. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second, but I'm happy with the way it sits. I'm happy with the way it looks. It's going to provide me plenty of shade, plenty of rain cover. I won't have to worry about it. I will just keep it just a touch off the roll bar so it doesn't vibrate on the roll bar or anything. But yeah, I think we're set there. If I do end up with any type of issue with like buzzing from it, I will put foam tape on the top of these two bars and then just remount it. I haven't read any reviews. I don't know if anybody's had an issue of the top buzzing, but if I do, I'll just use some of the foam insulation tape and put it on the top of the bar and then put it back on, and that'll stop any of the buzzing. So let's go ahead and get this permanent. So I'm going to bring you up close on this right hand bracket to show you what I was talking about. By removing it, it's going to be a little bit easier, so I'll flip you around. Now, if you look, let me turn on the light. There is a hole right there that we're going to end up using to bolt this so it can't swing down, so it doesn't swing, up and down. Now, to try to hit that hole from this side, is going to be near impossible. But if I make sure that I tighten this a whole bunch, make sure it stays in the right position, and make them both match, I can just zing this hole through from this side after I take it off. So let's do that. All right, so we pulled the brackets off. We put them in the drill press. We drilled some holes in them. And this is what you end up with. Let me flip you around. So if you look, now we have 2 bolts. We have the 1 bolt that was in the hole that was originally in the bracket right here. And then we have this smaller hole. Now, like I said, it was much easier to just pull the bracket off. Pull the bracket off and drill it through the hole that was already in this bar right on through the bracket. So we just made them look like each other. So same. Now we'll put them back on the tractor the original way that we had them. I left the tape on there, so all we need to do is put the U-bolts right along the tape and tighten them up. All right, you may have noticed instead of putting it at the top of the tape, I did put it at the bottom of the tape because I figured I had a little more headroom. And sure enough, I do. And I think we're gonna go with it about there. And yeah, I'm liking it. The last thing left is to drill the holes through the plastic. And it tells you to make sure that you're on these low spots when you drill the plastic, and to make sure you have it centered. So I will center it up, and we'll start by making sure that the arms are not splayed out, that they're straight. So we'll make a measurement in the front and the back and make sure they're even down the sides. And then I'll hold it in place and drill it from the bottom up. And what I'll probably do is drill the back ones to hold everything in place and then drill the front ones. So yeah, let's have at it. So I got it really close to where I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this back corner and then that back corner. And then I'll measure for the front, because this one is sprung out a little bit, but so I'll get this corner, then that corner, and then the 2 front corners. It's back about as far as I can get it, and still be able to get the big flat washer. Has to sit on the top here, and it can't hit this bump. So I have it back about as far as it can go, and we'll go from there. I'll double check it to make sure it's still square, which is where I want it. So Should be good. So let's get some nuts and washers. And I don't know if y'all folks can hear it, but the rain is hitting the roof. It's raining pretty good now. And we'll get this tightened up. All right. Yeah, I like that. All right, so that wasn't so bad. I mean, half hour, 45 minutes, something like that. And now the tractor has an awning. I kind of like it. Changes the look of it. And we'll flip you around. And as you can see, now it has that awning on it. The camera gives a little bit of an illusion of it being bowed, but it's just the lens of the camera. It's actually not. But now I have solid rain cover. I got it back as far as I could without worrying about it a buzz on the back of the frame. And what I'm thinking about doing is, because of the lighting situation, here's the lights, the headlights, and when the bucket is up, you can't see. I can put lights up there now so that when I'm working, I can see what I'm doing. So maybe mount a piece of steel across from bolt to bolt, and then mount the lights on the front of the piece of steel so they're shining down. But yeah, I think it's legit. And the nice thing is, when I need to fold this bar down, I just take these two here and here, and it comes off. So we're in Lake Flynn, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it's raining. And tomorrow I need to get this show on the road when it comes to the renovation, and now I can drive the tractor without having to worry about the rain. So that is a big bonus. And it sticks out pretty far in front. Let me climb up in here, get tools out of the seat first. But plenty of headroom, even for my taller friend. If I find that it is up too high, I can always bring it down. Why not? I only have to loosen these U-bolts. I got to take that tape off the frame. Right. So we're done here. I like it. So, in sticking with my motto, if you're thinking about family, if you're thinking about friends, give them the WhatsApp or the WhatsApp, especially this time of the year with the holidays and everything. People don't do the holidays real well. And your call may mean the difference, your call or your text. So do it, please. And if you are out there and you are having a hard time, and you know me, and you have my number, you know where to get me. I'd rather hear from you than have to visit you, if you know what I mean. So, enough on that. We got work to do tomorrow. I need to wrap this up, put this in the can, and get it out to you guys. So, I love each and every one of you. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It encourages me to keep going. And until the next one, Auf Wiedersehen.